For this example, I've created a new folder, which is called Cheerio app, and you can see it right here in my Sublime text. And I've also navigated over to it in my terminal command. So right here, I'm inside of my Cheerio app folder, and we'll go ahead and initialize this application just like we did with request. So I'll say npm init, and I'll name this Cheerio app, or just Cheerio O. They make it kind of hard now. And I'll click enter a few times. Now we'll go ahead and install my dependencies by saying npm install -- save, and we're just going to use request, express, and Cheerio. And I'm also just going to create one new file, which is going to be called app.js. So touch app.js. And then if we look in our Cheerio app folder, I have my node modules, my app.js file, and my package.json file. So opening up my app.js, the first thing I'll do is I'll paste in just the very beginning scaffolding that we use with request. And I'm going to make sure that I import in Cheerio. So var Cheerio equals require in Cheerio. So this is the page that we'll be scraping, and this is just a random page that I found off Indeed. So you can use basically any page in order to follow along because the elements are going to be the same. However, in the future, they might change around these elements, either the names or where they're located, but you will be able to figure out how to select the elements by just following along with this tutorial. The first thing I'll do is I'll make a variable reference to the URL of our Indeed webpage. And for this example, I've actually created a Google short link. So you can copy over this Google short link, or like I say, just use your own Indeed listing since it may expire. Now let's create our request function, which is first going to accept the URL, as well as a callback function, which takes an error response and a body. So first request is going to go out and download this web page, and then we're going to parse it using Cheerio. So how we do that is we set a variable, and the standard convention is to use the variable of the $, very similar to jQuery, and then we set it equal to cheerio.load, passing in the body, which is the web page itself. Now all we need to do is create variable references to the elements that we want to grab off of this Indeed page. So going over to the Indeed page, in order to grab any one of these elements, all you need to do is hover over the element that you want, right click, and hit inspect. So this is going to take you to the location of the element. So for example, for this title, it's inside of the class job title, and it's targeting the element font. So if we were to try to target this element font in order to grab out this text, it probably wouldn't work if there's another font located above where this font is. So it's going to grab the first reference of whichever element that we pass in. So what we can do is we're going to pass in the class of job title and then look for font and then grab the text. Okay, so this is how it would look like. Now we want to grab the job title, so we'll say var and then job title is equal to the selector that we're targeting. So we need to use a $, and then this is just like jQuery selectors. The element that we're targeting is inside of the job title class, and it's inside of the font. And then we need to grab the text, which is the same as inner HTML if you're using HTML. So this right here is enough to grab the job title name, which is, I believe, sales marketing. And then if I wanted to, I could print this out to the console right now. So console log, and then just pass in the job title variable. And this is just going to print us out a string. So I'll go ahead and save that. Go back into my terminal, and I'm going to type nodemon app.js. If you don't have nodemon installed globally, you can just type node and then app.js. So we get our listening on port 8000, and then we get the title of the page, Sales Marketing Intern. Perfect. So again, here we're targeting using jQuery selectors. If you're not so familiar with these, you can navigate over to these jQuery API docs and take a look at some of the selectors. So right here, we're targeting a class, right? The class is job title, and then we have a space and then font. So that indicates that we're trying to target the inner element, and then using the text method, we're grabbing the inner text. You can Google jQuery selectors or check out this page for more info on that. Okay, so in this example, we're just printing out a string to our console. Most of the time, we want to get more than one element off a page. And to do that, we export everything inside of an object. So typically, it's going to look like this. We'll just call this var obj, and then we'll export whatever it is that we want to send out. We can do this one of two ways. We can just say job title, and this is enough. And then we need to change the console log to obj. And this is ES6. So in ES6, it allows us to not have to reference our value when sending out an object. This still works also. So you can say job title is of type job title, referencing back this variable. But we don't have to do that anymore. We can just say job title. And then I'm going to save this. And this should log us out an object. So we go back into our terminal, and you can see that we've now logged out our job title as an object with a key value pair. So now let's finish up this example by adding a job description and job location. So heading back into our page, I want to grab the job description. And I only want to get the sales intern. So let's see how to do that. Hover over job description, hit inspect. So job description is inside a class of summary, inside a P tag, inside a B tag. So what's going to happen is if I target this, it's actually going to pull out all the B's inside of summary, right? So it's going to grab out this, it's going to grab out all this. And there's a way to target just this specific bold. But for this example, I'm going to do this kind of a little different. So heading back in, let's make a variable reference for a job description. So I want to grab the summary of P of bold, right? So that's going to get us back the summary details, and then I'm going to say .text in order to get the text. And then lastly is job location. So let's hover over this Santa Monica and inspect that. So we'll just use class location. So then I'll go back in and we'll say var job location is equal to $.location, and then we're pulling out the text. So let's go ahead and now we can add these to our object. Job description and job location. We'll save that, and let's take a look at our terminal. So in our terminal, you can see that I got back more than I wanted from my job description. And like I said, I only wanted to get the sales intern and leave out everything else. So let's see how to fix that. There's a couple ways to do this. The best way is to use a regular expression when grabbing specifically what you want. You can also use char@, or you could use slice. So I'm going to use slice, which is kind of hacky, but this is only an example. So I'm going to slice off the first 17 characters, and I'm going to go up to the 29th character, which is just going to give us the sales intern text. So I'll save that. Go back over to my terminal, and you can see now my job description is just sales intern. So this video should have given you a good idea of how to work with Cheerio, and now maybe you can go on and try scraping other pages, grabbing elements off those pages, as well as working with different jQuery selectors.